man. Excuse me. It looked like Mel Kiper has the Detroit Lions drafting Xavier Legette out of South Carolina with the 29th pick. We know Brad can trade up, trade down in the draft. He's at South Carolina. You know how they do in college. They overlist him. They listed him at 6'3", 6'1". I believe he only had 1 year of production. 1,255 yards, ran a 4.39 and 6'1". Lined up on the inside and the outside. Mel said he's a fast riser up his board. I guess Brian Thomas is also a fast riser going up the board, being 6'4" and catching a bunch of touchdowns at LSU, playing opposite of Malik Neighbors. They really turned out some really good receivers at LSU as well. So should be very, very interesting. Honestly. But yeah, I mean, he said them getting Carlton Davis and filling some needs, give them some flexibility to find another playmaker. Most people will look at it and say, well, you can just go out there and sign Odell Beckham, or you can sign Mike Williams, or whatever. I mean, I think some of those quarterbacks also gonna rise real high. The kid from Toledo gonna rise. I know Nate Wiggins had like a little injury after he ran his 40 out of Clemson. I think he ran like a 4.24 too. So, a lot of them corners gonna rise. So it's gonna be interesting. That tail end of the draft, in that second round, be having really, really good players. I mean, you think T.J. Watt, Frank Ragnow, going into the second, Derrick Henry, receiver Mike Thomas, A.J. Brown. I think, it's just a number of good players. Darius Slay was a second round pick. It's, Ryan Brandt, Sam Laporta, you know what I'm saying? So DK Metcalf. So there's good players down there, man. I think J.J. Watt was somewhere in the 20s. I could be wrong. Lamar Jackson might have been the last pick of the first round. So, it's a bunch of really good picks down there. What's the kid? Zay Flowers was in the 20s as well too. So yeah, it's a bunch of good picks down there. You just want to be able to get the talent right. You basically want to be able to get the talent right. So at the end of the day, as long as it's the right pick, and they come in there and they produce, I really don't have an issue with it. I know a lot of people got an issue with the Lions keep taking receivers, going back to what Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, Calvin Johnson, Mike Williams, going back to that era, and every time they take one, I mean, even, in the second round with Titus Young, Ryan Bros, out of Oklahoma. They took some in the second round pretty high, historically. So, we'll see. They drafted some guys last year. They found the kid at Eastern undrafted. They found Antoine Green and see what's going to happen to him. They bought back Donovan Peoples-Jones. So, they still can, just because you feel like you feel the need at guard, or they feel the need at corner, or they feel the need at defensive tackle, that don't mean they still won't double back and really make it a real strength for the organization. I think they're going to go with the best available talent. If that's a receiver, if that's, Xavier Legette, if that's moving up, getting the guy they want, or they don't like somebody moving back, getting some picks. He took a lot of flack for taking Jahmyr Gibbs last year. And, he was just a football player. He said, we didn't categorize him as a running back. We categorized him as a weapon, aka a football player. And that's what they categorized him as. So, but, I mean, if he's still growing, I mean, he tested well in the drills. Xavier Legette. So, at the end of the day, if he the pick, he the pick. Mel Kiper, he been doing it for years, got into it with the coach GM 1 year. It's hard to predict the draft. It is. It's hard to predict who's going to be good. There's so much that go into it, inside the lines and outside the building. So it's hard to, judge how everybody going to do with this newfound money and fame and all that stuff. So, the Lions, people see the Lions offense and, oh, they don't need no more help. You always got to keep improving. No matter if you feel like you the best version of yourself, there's a better version. You got to strive for greatness. And that's what I feel about the Lions. You know, teams are going to be gearing up, watching film. Now they're the new Detroit Lions, seeing what they do offensively they can stop. So adding a twist to the offense, which is a playmaker outside the hashes that can make something happen from that Marvin Harrison X spot, that makes you unguardable. That's why so many people is attracted to bringing Mike Williams here. I mean Mike Evans here, because you knew what you gonna stop the box. You gonna stop the run by putting people in the box and let Mike Williams eat you up down the field. Pause. Let St. Brown and Laporta do their thing in between the hashes in the intermediate short field. What you gonna do? You gotta pick your poison. That's why that outside receiver is so important, because you gotta account for him. That's one thing the Lions didn't have as much success outside the hashes. Josh Reynolds was one of the only guys that really was out there beating press coverage on the outside every time. So they got to go out there and get a receiver that's going to beat press coverage one-on-one. And, if that's take the top off the offense to just be in possession receiver that can just move the chains per down, that's what I think they obviously need to be looking for. So you need somebody on the outside that can make happen. If it's 6'4", 6 feet, 6'1", 5'10", 5'9", 5'11", whoever it may be, if they can win on the outside and make plays going down the field and make plays outside the hashes, and most importantly, catch the football and beat that press coverage and one-on-one coverage, that's exactly what you're looking for. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is, man. But, if Xavier Legette out of South Carolina can play, hey, man, let's go get it. If it's somebody else, if it's a corner, if it's Chop Robinson, if it's the kid out of the corner out of Toledo, if it's the receiver Brian Thomas out of LSU, if it's a quarterback that's they think gonna help us, hey, so be it. You know what I'm saying? If that is the defensive tackle out of Illinois, if it's a defensive end out of Troy, out of Washington, and the whole nine. So it depends on who it is, but as long as they can help the cause and help us win, I just think he's gonna go for the best available player that fits their scheme. That's that's gonna come in and play Detroit Lion football. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's let me know what you girls and guys think. Mel Kiper, remember Mike Mayock used to talk all that shit, and he went, excuse my language, went to the Raiders. It ain't much happened there. So we'll mess around and see. But hey, hit the link tree. Find me on X, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Instagram, Facebook, doing some things over there. Want to donate? Just the best way to do it is share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon button. With the Cash App is $CJ Good 313. Venmo the same. PayPal link is in the description. All that's in the link tree. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Peace.